everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and it's time for the Gnome Friends Dragon Dies assembly video. Hey, so I'm using the brand new Gnome Friends Dragon Dies and the brand new dragon faces, and I'm going to put together some super cute dragons. So first I cut the base of that head out of American Crafts black cardstock. Then I'm using Doodlebug-Dragon Tails, just for that scaly paper in green, which is fun. And then I'm also using Doodlebug's dot stripe for this lime color. Now the horn was cut from Bazzill Bling in kind of like an ivory. Or a cream, I guess. So this is just super cute, adding in the little fins on the side of the face there, or whatever they're called, I don't know. You can make these dragons whatever color you like because dragons are not real. So dragons can be whatever color you want. So now I'm going to assemble the rest of this guy. So I always cut the bases out of American Crafts black cardstock, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't show. You do you. Next I'm adding on the little wings, cut from that dot stripe from Doodlebug again. Isn't that fun? There we go. And then I'm going to put together the little body. So I'm going to add on the little body first to this little black outline. There we go. Isn't this cute? It's just too cute. And then the dot stripe, that's, going to be the little scales on the back of the tail, the little points. Next, the little tail out of that same color from Dragon Tails from Doodlebug. And I'm adding that in place. Next, I'm going to put down the belly. That's that same dot stripe from Doodlebug in the lighter green. Then I'm going to add on the little head, just putting glue behind the main part of the head. Remember, you could put this on an action wobble. That would be fun. There we go. And isn't this cute? Oh my goodness. Next, I'm going to add on the little hind legs, cut from that same Dragon Tails Doodlebug paper line. This is an oldie, but use whatever you've got. The little arms are going to go on. They kind of look like they are holding something. So I cut it out of American Crafts black cardstock and then again out of the pattern paper from Doodlebug. I'm just layering those up. Now you can leave these as is. It kind of looks like it has little claws, right? And trust me, that might be the better way to go because my goodness, those little tiny pokey claws, to add them is kind of a pain. Although it does really add something. So there we go. Isn't he cute? Oh my goodness. Just adorable stuff. And next I'm going to add on the little wings. So this can go wherever you want. But I'm going to put mine about there. Isn't that cute? He's just so cute. Now, for this, I'm using Doodlebug-Dragon Tails. It has some fire on the pad, so that was easy. So this is going to be the fire if you want to add fire coming out of his mouth. So there is a little die-cut mouth that you can add. I'm going to use die cuts on this guy. So his eyes were cut out of American Crafts black cardstock and Paper Trank white cardstock. I'm just lining them up like so. Oops, sorry, I keep hitting my camera. And then I'm going to add them on. So you kind of want the slant going towards the nose, right? Although you can put them wherever you want. This is your dragon after all. So isn't that cute? Just so cute. So there's a little tiny smile. That's a little black smile. Oops. So you can add that on. Or you can have an open mouth and have the fire coming out of it. Whatever you want to do. Oops. Got to get that in place. There we go. Isn't that cute? Oh my goodness. So now I'm going to add on the dreaded claws. So I cut them out of that Bazzill Bling in cream, same as the horn. And trust me, you're going to want an embellishment wand to pick these suckers up. They're tiny. There. Now the hind leg ones aren't too bad. It's the finger ones that are hard. So I'm just tapping little tiny dabs of glue, and then I'm going to use my embellishment wand to put them in place. But like I said, you could have skipped this part and just cut the base of that arm out of that cream cardstock, and you would see the little nails coming out from the end. Not as detailed as these are, but you know, it'd work and it would save some effort. Right? So there we are, and isn't he adorable? I just think he's the cutest little thing. And there we go. And I'm just going to get his little mouth in place. And there he is. Isn't he cute? This is an A2 size card base. And there we are. So next I'm going to put together another dragon. This guy I cut out of Bazzill Bling. This is all Bazzill Bling. I have a pad of Bazzill Bling cardstock. I don't know, I've had it a long time, but it has all the different colors in there, and I'm just choosing a bunch of different colors of Bazzill Bling to go together. So this one, I kind of cut it in the same colors as that dragon from Disney World. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. So that's what I was kind of going for. It's not exactly like him, but it kind of reminded me of him. So that's why I chose the colors. There. Next, I'm going to add on the little hind legs. I love cutting this dragon out of this shiny Bazzill Bling. It just adds something. So adding on the little hind legs in place. You can see where they go because there's some stitching there. Next, I'm going to put together, this is a different head, right? It has different horns and everything. So I am using the same Bazzill Bling, but I'm using the flat side because I'm going to be doing some stamping for his face. So I can't imagine stamping on Bazzill Bling would work out too well. So that's why I decided to stamp, I'm going to stamp it onto the matte side. So this is the pink Bazzill Bling that I'll be adding this little comb over on his head. There we are. It's just too cute. All the horns are cut out of orange Bazzill Bling. They're lining everything up, the horns. And I just think this little guy is the cutest, right? Then he's got these little horns that go off the side of his face as well. And I'm just going to add those in. And we will have him ready in just a second here. There we go. And we'll get that last one on. Isn't that fun? So now I am pulling out, these are Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, the miniature ones in black. And I'm just going to use those for the little arms. Add in the little hands. There. And we can put on his little head in a moment. I'm going to add on the little toenails, cut out of that orange bling again. Oop, I got to add something to my list here as I'm doing this voiceover, because I didn't have that I used the white cardstock from Paper Tray Ink for the eyes. You see, I try to keep a good list for you guys. So everything that I used in this assembly video will be listed right underneath this video. And when it's a card, everything is listed over in my blog post that is usually linked under the video. So there we go. Isn't that fun? So now I'm going to stamp an adorable face on this guy using my Misty and Versafine Clair Nocturne ink. So I'm just going to line this up. And now I am going to go ahead and stamp this little face. It is too cute. I just love it. There we go. Isn't that cute? Oh, he's just adorable. So I'm going to glue that on to my little dragon. Now I did make a boo-boo when I was doing this guy, and I left it in. I chose an eye color that was just too dark, and I didn't like it. So, but you'll see it at the end. So now I'm taking a Sakura white jelly roll pen in a number 10 and a number 5, and I'm just going to color in the whites of the eyes and the highlights of the eyes. There we go. And I just think it makes it I don't know, I think it really adds something to have that white, that crisp white of the eyes. And I'm just going to color that in, and then I'll add the little highlights as well. And then I'm going to add the eye color, which is a boo-boo. But I left it in because, I like to leave my boo-boos in so you can see, what I do wrong sometimes, because I make mistakes all the time. Let's be honest. It's why I do voiceovers, because there'd just be too much swearing. I'll tell you right now, there'd be too much swearing. I'd be, every once in a while I get really mad at myself. So this is a Jelly Roll pen in purple, and it was neat and cool, but it was just too dark and it didn't look right. So, I left it in. What I ended up doing was I cut the face out again, and then I added another layer on that forehead comb and then the orange horns. And you'll never know. The head's a little bit thicker, but there you go. Okay, so I decided that I am going to add in the arms. There's little arms that can look like they're holding something. I'm putting those in place, and then I'm going to add the little hands on top of it. I just thought it looked better that way. So there we go. And then I'm going to add in my little hands. So I've got to put some glue down because, I've ripped off my dimensional, so it won't stick. So there we go. So now at the end, you'll see that I ended up using a Copic marker in BV04 just to color the eyes. I just liked it better. It was like a lighter purple. So now I'm going to put together a little head, this is Bazzill Bling again, but on the dull side, so I can stamp a face. And, you can have a little dragon head on your card if you want, right? Or popping out of something. So that's why I like to do just a head sometimes. There we go. And then I'm going to assemble this. So using American Crafts black cardstock again. There we go. And that's the Bazzill Bling on the dull side, so I could stamp it. And then I will weight it down. I'm going to add in the little horns. This is Bazzill Bling again in purple for the horn. And then I'm using pink for the other pieces, because why not, right? And I'm just going to add these in place. I like this little winky face of this guy. He's just too cute. And then I'll add these two little, I don't know what they'd be called, little fins on the side of his head. I don't know. Add in those in the shiny pink. And isn't that cute? Oh, he's just adorable, right? Now I'm taking some EK Success chalk and just adding some chalk in on the cheeks, because why not, right? There it is. And then I'm going to pull out a number 10 Sakura white Jelly Roll pen to color in the highlights and the eyes. Or the eye, I guess. The other one's a winky, right? So there we go. Isn't this cute? Oh my goodness. I'm going to take that number 5 also, just so I can get into the corners without messing things up. And I'm going to add some little freckles to this guy as well, because of course he would have freckles. If we have an imaginary dragon, we can give him freckles. So there he is, or she is, and isn't that cute? So there we go. And there are my other ones. There he is. And this one, and you'll see he's got the lighter eyes in this one. There, and you can see it in the picture at the end of the video. I did, use that version. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog, be inspired by the team, the Jaded Blossom store, to get your hands on these products. And thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.